Welcome back, everyone, to Global War 1914, Operation Albatross. This is the summer of 1918 for the Ottomans. And for our purchases, we're going to go for a camel for $4, and then 4 infantry for 12. And then that will leave us $1 in the bank, and we will spend it on diplomacy and see if we can't get Sweden down to stage 2. They're currently in favor of Russia. For technology, currently working on hurricane bombardment, so let's see if we can get to stage 2. That's going to be at a 7 or higher. We'll try the diplomacy first. It seemed to work for the French on their turn last video. So we need a 2 or less, and we missed with a 4. So no luck there. And here's the roll for hurricane bombardment at a 7 or higher. And that's a miss with a 1. So no luck on diplomacy or tech. Okay, let's come over here for combat moves. So we've got a lot of attrition attacks to do. First up here, Eastern Anatolia into Transcaucasia. We have 2 artillery there. We also got 2 artillery in Thessaly. They're going to be going down into southern Greece. And then here in Palestine, we've got 3 artillery. They'll be going into eastern Egypt. Japan, it got kind of cluttered here in Egypt, so I put all the guys here on a unit card, and you know, the world is well represented here in Egypt. A lot of different countries here: Italy, France, Britain, and Japan. But Italy and Japan are the only ones who have artillery, and they don't have artillery first strike, so or counter battery fire rather. So our 3 artillery that will be doing attrition attacks into Egypt will not be subject to a counterattack from their artillery. And then our last combat move is going to be a full-out assault from northern Iraq into southern Iraq. Against my better judgment, but it's getting late in the game, and you know, we're desperate for victory points, and you know, southern Iraq is worth a victory point, so we're going to try and see what kind of damage we can do there. I've got it all set up on the board here, and I can kind of go through the units here before I do the attrition attacks. I'm going to roll for the attrition attacks first before we do the battle for Iraq. So the Ottomans, they have 4 infantry. 3 will be at a 1 because of the desert terrain. The other infantry will pair with an artillery, and so he'll be boosted up to a 2. We do have 4 artillery total. They will be down to a 3 because of the desert, and then they have 3 camel, and of course camel aren't subject to desert terrain penalty. So they're originally at a 3, but they're going to pair with the other 3 artillery, and that will boost them up to a 4. Then we have a 1918 fighter. He's going to be doing ground strike at a 5. And then on the British side, they have a camel at a 2, artillery first strike at a 4, a Gurkha at a 5, and then 4 infantry at a 6. And of course, that is a trench line there. Barely, but it is a trench line. Okay. So here are the attrition attacks. So we'll do Thessaly into southern Greece first, looking for some 1s. No luck there. Here's Eastern Anatolia into Transcaucasia. Nothing there either. And then last but not least, Palestine into eastern Egypt. And nothing there. Close, but still no cigar. So no luck on the attrition attacks, and let's go to the battle for Iraq. We'll start out with the artillery first strikes. So we have, the Ottomans have 4 artillery at a 3. No hits there, really close, but no luck. And then the British actually have 2 artillery, not just 1. So they have 2 at a 4. And both of them miss as well. All right, looking for a good number of hits here. For any hope to send this to a second round of combat to break through that trench line. Forgot to put a chip under that artillery, that British artillery. So yeah, there's 2 there. Okay, Ottomans have 3 infantry at a 1. nothing there. 1 infantry at a 2. Hey, there's a hit. Nice. 3 camel at a 4. 2 hits there. All right. And then a fighter at a 5. And no hit there. All right, so just the 3 hits. And then in return, the British have a camel at a 2. That's a miss. A Gurkha at a 5. That's a miss. And then 4 infantry at a 6. Wow, no hits. Not a single one. My goodness. Well, too bad the Ottomans can't go to a second round because, man, there were no casualties inflicted on them. But the British do have to account for 3 casualties themselves, and they're going to lose the camel and 2 artillery. There's no way we're going to lose infantry and give up our trench lines, so we will lose the 2 camel and the artillery, and we will maintain control of southern Iraq, and the battle is over. I'm going to get these guys back on the board. Well, at least we did some damage. Maybe next turn, if the game goes on to a next turn, maybe we can make some more inroads or even take over southern Iraq. The good news is that we didn't suffer any casualties, which is a minor miracle in and of itself. All right, let's come back to the board here for some non-combat movement. We're going to take an infantry from Thrace, and he's going to rail to Macedonia. We're going to take an infantry from Constantinople, put him into Thrace. We have this Ottoman guard, and we only have 2. We do have improved logistics, so we have 2 rails that we can do from our home country. I think we're going to send him, the Ottoman guard, to Thessaly. He's going to rail to Thessaly. And then this last infantry, we'll send him to Anatolia. But the infantry that's in Anatolia, he's going to come over 1 into eastern Anatolia. So there'll still be 4 there because we're going to take an infantry from eastern Anatolia and put him into northern Iraq. So we're just going to slide 1 infantry over. All right. And now we can place some units. A camel is going to go into northern Iraq. That will consume the manpower slot there. So we have 4 camel now in northern Iraq. And then we've got 4 infantry to place down. 1 will go into Anatolia. And 3 will go into Constantinople. All right, let's collect some income. Our base is sitting at 12. And let's see, we don't get anything from trade. Let's roll and see how much we get from our wartime economy bonus. And that's going to be an 8. So 12 and 8, that's going to be 20. And we will have 20 in the bank for next turn. That will be it for the Ottomans. Next up will be Russia. And they get a free diplomacy roll on their turn that we have to remember to do because they were able to conquer Galatia and hold it for a whole turn. So we got that coming up, and we'll see what Russia will do in Austria-Hungary's lands. See if they attempt to advance deeper into their territory or not. All right, that'll do it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Until next time, take care. Bye for now.